Lucky Ladybug by Joshua Ray. How lucky is it? Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, welcome to the review. Today we're talking about Lucky Ladybug by Joshua Ray, produced by Deuce Gala. I was kindly sent one of these, so we're going to go over my thoughts on it, what you get, all the usual points that we go through, and let you know what happens if you buy Lucky Ladybug and maybe why you should buy it or not. Let's go through it. So to begin with, you place your order, you waited for the post, it comes, what you actually get in the package. So this is the packaging that it comes up. So it's really nice packaging. It looks really cool. Inside the packaging, you get some ladybugs, which is great. So you get a little pack here of ladybugs, which are really cool. And you also get these cards that allow you to do the trick. So you get 3 cards. They have logs on them on one side and little ladybug on the other. So this allows you to do the routine where you can show one of the ladybugs on the log, hand it to the person, then the ladybug vanishes, they wave the hand, and the ladybug's on the back. So you get everything you need with it. You get really cool packaging, you get the instructions on the inside. I really like the packaging overall. I'm just going to block where the instructions are, but like that's the inside of the packaging, which is just really cool. Really nice attention to detail. Like there's no real need for that level of sort of detail in the instruction or in the packaging. So I think that's really cool to get that and get everything there. So basically, what you get is the 3 cards, and I got about 20 ladybugs. So that's what you get when you order Lucky Ladybug. Now let's talk about the instructions. With the instructions, you get a link to the Deuce Gala website where you get the instructions. There's a nice amount of performance footage that you get there of live performances where you get it. For those who aren't familiar with the routine, I guess it's just a ladybug will appear, vanish from the card, appear in the back of someone's hand, similar to things like the web or My Pet Boris, those sort of things where it was a spider, now it's a ladybug, so people aren't going to be screaming the way they usually do for just the more of like a jump scare than the magical moment. This gets a really nice sort of reaction to it rather than that. So with the instructions, you get to see that in the live performances, and then also it's broken down in a lot of detail. It's like for someone who is experienced in magic, you probably pick it up quite quickly, but it's great that the level of detail in the instructions that this is the first trick you ever bought, you will be able to do it at the end because that level of detail is gone through. So the instructions are overkill. There's Joshua Ray going through everything himself, and then also Buck from Deuce Gala comes in with little bonuses here and there as well to try and add more to make sure that you have everything that you need, that you feel confident to go out performing it. So that's really all to say about the instructions. It's really good quality. You get all the information you need. You can perform the routine straight out the gate. So that's the instructions for Lucky Ladybug. So now let's move on to whether or not I think this is a difficult trick to perform. Is it difficult? No, it's not. This is quite an easy trick to do, especially with the cards. The card bit is really easy. Anyone who has any sort of experience in magic pick that up very quickly, even if it's your first trick. I think pretty quickly you get it. The only thing that could be seen as difficult for a new person would be the loading of the ladybug on your spectator. It is incredibly easy to do. The hardest bit is actually just having like the courage to do it and just know that you're going to get away with it. But if you have any experience using anything like the web or My Pet Boris or any of the other sort of things like that, or even if you've used double cross or those sort of things, if you're in that situation, you know what you're doing, it's going to be absolutely fine. And if it's new and you've never done anything like that and it makes you nervous, it's perfect. I've performed this a few times now on people, and even when I performed on my wife, I asked her Joe afterwards, "Did you feel it on your hand?" She was like, she knew the trick already, but she was actually didn't think I'd done anything yet. So when it appeared in her hand, it actually really was a surprise. So you just have to have the courage to just load it on. It's really covered in the instructions really well how to do it. So you don't really have to worry about that. But that's the only bit that's difficult. The actual sleight of hand that's involved, if you can even call it that, is very basic and quite easy to do. So that's about whether it's difficult. So now let's move on to the frequently asked question. The frequently asked question is something around this that I've been seeing about sort of where sort of performing it, who you're performing it on, and that sort of stuff is really what I've been seeing. And for me, it's maybe one of the things that I was thinking as well. Like for me, I am more of a mentalist performer. I am the sort of, this wouldn't be my usual style of things to perform, but where I can see this actually having a place in my repertoire would be sort of at a wedding where there's a maybe some younger kids around. I might perform on them. Maybe like the flower girl at a wedding. I think would be really good. I can see this playing really well on adults as well. Like I have performed on adults since I've received it, just to get a taste of it, and it really works well. It just doesn't suit my character for performing that way. But even as I was saying, I performed this on my wife, and she was saying that if she did magic, this would be like a go-to trick. Even to the point she was saying she'd have ladybugs on her website, really make this like a centerpiece of her trick. So it really depends on your style and what you're into with how you can perform it. For me, I could see it being as like a nice moment where I was performing for someone, maybe a child at a wedding, or if I was performing this for some of the people, if the moment felt right, I would use it. So that's kind of where I see myself performing it. But it's really up to you and your character. Where if you think this fits you, go for it. If you don't think it fits you, think about maybe in certain situations where you might need something for a particular type of spectator who's not your typical spectator. Like for me, I perform a lot for adults, but at weddings, there are often younger children there. So that's why I carry sponge balls in my case, because I might do something with them, because I'm not going to do hardcore mentalism to a child. And I think this would be fitting in as well there. And I think it's up to you to really see where you're going to fit that in. So now let's move on to anything I didn't like. So with the anything I didn't like, it's interesting that with the props and that sort of stuff, from what I saw when I ordered it to when it arrived, it was exceeded my expectations. I thought the packaging was really good. The quality of the cards that you get are really good. They're kind of plastic coated, so you don't need to worry about putting this down on like a wet surface. That sort of stuff. They're wipe clean. I think the quality of these are really good. I think that's fine. So, like from an expectation point of view of what I saw versus what I received, there's nothing there. For me, it is just a thing of my sort of performance style. Having cards like this don't really fit my character. So that's why I'm looking at ways I can do it differently. So instead of using this routine with the logs, I can see myself just using these in different areas, whether it be like using digital force back to force something after I've loaded this onto someone, have them wave over the phone and it appears in the back of their hand, or psychological forces I've been messing around with, of like having someone walk up to a bush, pick off a leaf, turn over what insect you see on the other side. That's been hitting a lot with Ladybug, and then it's been on the back of their hand. So there's all those sort of things where I can see myself using it. So from like an overall point of view in my usual performance area, I don't think having the logs with the ladybugs fits the style, except for as I was saying with the kids. But I have been to come up with ways of adapting it just to use the ladybugs themselves. I think these are really cool. And anytime you can make something appear on the spectator's hands, I think that's a benefit. So that's for me, just my own performance style. But again, if this fits you, go for it. Perfect. But that's just the only thing for me that didn't really, isn't something that I usually go for. So that's the only thing I didn't like. Overall, really high quality. Everything is as you expect from Deuce Gala. So now let's move on to the rating. For those of you who've watched any of my reviews before, might know that I don't give things a rating, a score of 10 or out of 100. It's kind of where I see this going. So for me, I see this really fitting into the situation of I'm going to perform this at weddings, as I said. I'm gonna have it in my case ready for when the right moment hits and when to perform it. Then also I might be carrying these just inside my jacket pocket. They don't take up a lot of space, so I will be ordering more of these as well. Just have them on me, keep them with me, and then I can load them onto people and do whatever sort of force I want. So I have a list of 100 animals and that sort of stuff. So these are my force item there. So I'll be using that quite a bit. Because I just like the reaction of making something appear in my hand. So for me, it's going to be in my close-up case for weddings, and also I will be carrying these around in a sort of EDC type way, just the bugs. So the bugs are going to be in my EDC, and the cards will be in my close-up case for weddings. So that's where I'll be using it. That's my sort of rating that it is going into my actual act. Thanks again to Deuce Gala for sending it on to me. I really do appreciate it. So now let's just summarize everything and finish this up. Those are my thoughts on Lucky Ladybug. Again, a really high quality product. If you like what you see in the trailer, it's exactly what you're going to get. It's going to be perfect. You're going to be able to perform it pretty much immediately once you get the props. You get everything you need in the instructions. It's really amazing. And thanks again to the guys at Deuce Gala for sending this on to me to review. And they also very kindly gave a little discount code So I will be putting that in the description down below, so you can check that out. That will give you some extra ladybugs and a bit of a discount. So make sure you check that out down below. It'll be in the description, and you can check that out. And hopefully you get some lucky ladybugs. You get extra ladybugs if you use this discount code. So all the details in the description. So check that out. So thanks again to Deuce Gala for doing that. And I hope you enjoy it. And if this is the type of magic for you, I highly recommend it. Thanks again, and we'll see you again next time.